Hey guys, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super video, and as you can guess by the cards that I have on display here, we're going to be talking about the banned and restricted lists, as well as a few of the erratas that have come up recently in the Dragon Ball Super card game. Figured I've been out of the loop with the videos for a bit, so what better way to come back than with one of many ban list discussions that we have here in the Dragon Ball Super card game. No card game is immune to any type of limitations on cards. For those people who play Pokemon or Magic, you might be more familiar with rotations. Dragon Ball follows the other precedent where they will ban cards based on upcoming sets, previous card interactions, things of that nature. I'm not going to go into every errata that's out there. I'm also not going to go into every ban that was out there. As you can see, I don't have Plan for Destruction or Begrudging Respect Piccolo. Those are two other cards that were banned for both of them having interactions with ramp that Bandai wanted to keep in check. And speaking of ramp, we have one of the cards that is now banned because of how it hurts ramp strategies. Force Ejection Massane is unfortunately banned. This card was always basically like a pretty decent answer to ramp decks. Obviously, the effect is a little different than what it's worded, but essentially it was able to restrict ramp strategies by being hard casted for the turn, and it just kind of like it followed, and it hurt a lot of ramp strategies. So it seems like Bandai wants some type of ramp, even though we have this card banned and we have objection banned. It looks like they're trying to figure out a way to make ramp relevant, and that's just one of the many cards that is on that list. So we had Force Ejection Massane banned, and then we have Plan for Destruction ban. Ramp is very strong, so I can see why they're trying to limit a lot of like the immediate answers just so that it gets some type of play. But then they also understand that some cards might be a little too busted, like for example, Plan for Destruction in that Zamasu deck that ramps up. So they took care of those cards before this new set could come in. Unfortunately, another unfortunate ban. One of the most aggressive cards ever printed for Black Turtles, the Unstoppable Ghost Warrior. This was very popular in Hachiak. It was very popular in Boo decks. It led to some very fast, high damage turns. And I guess Bandai felt that it might have been a little too fast. The speculation is that the upcoming Vegex deck may have been a little too strong with this card still in existence. I feel that the Vegex deck is still very fast, even without this card. I think Vegex is still capable of some really fast wins. Maybe turn 3, definitely turn 3, and probably turn 4. It's a very fast, aggressive deck, especially with the Vegeta Reluctant Reinforcement card. And this is just one way to kind of like curb the power of that card. I'm sad to see it go. It was a really good card. Obviously a little too good, I guess, and it unfortunately has been hit with the ban hammer. Another card that is now banned, and I think there are many players who are rejoicing at the fact that this card is banned, even though it hasn't seen play in a good couple of months. Granted, there have been no in real life events, but based on some of the online tournament data, as well as the last known type of events where this card was legal and people were actually physically able to play in stores or events, it wasn't seeing too much play. But I guess Bandai, in their reasoning, if you go to their website, they list their reasons for why they did it, why they do certain erratas and bans and whatnot. They felt that this card may have been a little too powerful. I do feel that for 5 energy, taking away your opponent's hand is really strong. But I feel like that is part of the game, and it shouldn't be penalized for being part of the game. You know, a lot of Dragon Ball is big, powerful attacks and big, powerful moves, and I don't know. I mean, maybe they felt that with ramp kind of coming back, it might have been too easy to splash this into those ramp decks again, seeing as how 5 energy can be pretty fast to get to in those ramp strategies. Um, it also has triple strike, and it has barrier, and it has deflect. I mean, it's just an overall very powerful card that can essentially win games on its own. My only concern is, you know, does this stop them from making other boss monster type of cards? You know, we, with the exception of Gogeta Hero Revived, I think the only other card that is a boss monster esque type card, maybe the 7-drop Kaioken. That's still kind of running around, even though it's only seen in a few decks. But that deck also has kind of waned off in popularity. I'm, of course, talking about the Red Green Broly Surge deck. But this guy's banned. Kaioken's still around. I guess it remains to be seen whether Kaioken is going to have an impact on the upcoming format. Next banned card I want to talk about is Android 21 Violent Predator. This was a card that was mostly used to counter mono strategies, primarily the Hachiyak deck, as that deck came up into play. This is probably like a 2 of inside decks. At most locals, if you could splash it in, you probably splashed in a 1 of to, you know, just in case you faced off against that Hachiyak player. This card was very powerful. Basically shut down mono strategies, and as we look at set 10, Bandai is keen on making mono strategies relevant again, which leads me to want to make a little bit of a comment on cards like this. You know, if you have the foresight, and if you know that, you know, you have multicolored cards and you have mono decks, why print something like this in the first place? If you're all about balance and you're all about having interactive gameplay and you're all about promoting diverse strategies, then something like this just shouldn't have been printed to begin with. So I feel like banning it was correct, but I also want the company and whoever designs these cards to understand that if you have that foresight, if you have that knowledge, there's no reason to make cards like this. I mean, granted, it was fun to use, it was powerful, it felt good to play it when you did. But at the end of the day, you know, if you know it's going to stifle, it's pretty easy to tell if certain cards are going to stifle design all around. You know, you look at a card like this and you automatically know, damn, mono strategies have a hard time. Then why print it if you know that mono strategies are going to have a hard time? I get you're trying to push dual color and you're trying to push, you know, the multicolor cards when the sets were out, but you can do that without making insanely powered cards like this one was at the time that you know, it was seeing any type of play. All I'm saying is do better. You know, we don't, if this card is something that you knew was going to be powerful, we all knew this card was going to be powerful if it kept in the format. Once we saw that all the unison stuff was pretty much like mono based, this was pretty much an auto include. If you played any of these colors, we played blue or green. So it's banned now. We don't have to worry about it, but we do have to worry about, you know, the precedent that Bandai is setting, you know, with their design. Make better cards. We don't need to run into this type of issue again where we take a card that we love, especially a fan favorite like Android 21, and then we're no longer able to play it after just 2 sets. The last thing I want to go over is what Bandai has done to the Surge leaders. They have been errated. We'll start with the Super Saiyan Son Goku, who is also known as the SSG Son Goku Surge of Divinity. This card has been errated, so its effect on the front side now only works on your turn, as opposed to being able to work on either player's turn. So it's a nerf. I think it's a nerf that's pretty warranted. This leader is pretty much one of the strongest leaders in the game. If you looked at a lot of the online tournament data, this deck was dominating everywhere, basically. You had red yellow packages. You had red blue yellow packages being thrown into this deck. It drew an insane amount of cards. It had access to Bardock Ape. Like, it was super strong. Its effect to negate skills for the duration of the turn is pretty good, if not probably one of the best effects in the game. So being able limiting it to your turn only, I think is fair. I still see this deck and this leader as a dominant leader going into the set 10 format. So it's still good. I still expected to see a lot of play in upcoming events. If locals ever start up, or even on online events, I still feel like this guy's going to be really relevant. And last but not least, the unfortunate rest in peace card. Piccolo has been errata to where he no longer has that crazy draw effect on the front turn. So once per turn, at the beginning of your turn, you look at the top card of your deck, and you place that card on the top or bottom of your deck, and then draw. So essentially, he was always a draw 2, because you would draw for his effect and then draw for your turn. Now he no longer has that extra draw, so now he's just drawing for turn. And then, he had the ramp and the hand control on the other side. But the draw, extra draw, was what kept this leader strong. Now, I would have to say he is virtually unplayable now, which means an entire deck is essentially gone. Like, what blue-green leader do we have? Unless they make other blue-green leaders that hopefully are good, that would be the best case scenario. But unfortunately, I think this is the end of Piccolo for now. The extra draw is really what gave him a lot of advantage. And it's sad to see a really good leader go. So yeah, that's my little rant on what this is. I think these last three here are the pause for concern, because I feel like doing stuff like this is indication of a dangerous precedent. Like, why make power cards if you know they're going to impact design the way they are? Like, if you have the foresight, they're gonna, this. We all knew this card was a little too strong. And then this is unfortunate because like we had two very strong leaders. They were pretty much dominating the game, so maybe something could have been done. I think I would have accepted just an outright ban if you really wanted to push people towards other decks. But at the same token, it's like, if you know that, like, we all know these are strong leaders. We all know they were broken. Maybe not broken. Maybe this guy's broken, but he's kind of broken too. But we all knew that these were going to be very powerful, and it just sucks that, like, I think the precedent is scary that, like, we'll get powerful cards and then only to know that they will eventually be banned. It makes it a little uncomfortable. I'm still a fan of the game. I'm still going to play. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm done. As a competitive player, we're going to adapt. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep playing. We're going to play the new stuff. We're going to figure out what old stuff still works. And, we're going to keep enjoying the game that we love. So I feel like overall, it was a decent list. I don't disagree with the list. I just disagree with the intent and the purpose of it this time around. Yes, we know that Bandai is a company. They want to make money. And we all know that, ban lists and rotations or any type of limitation on cards is done twofold. It's done to promote the health of the game, and it's also done to sell future product. So we obviously know that we want to sell future product because monocolored decks are making a comeback. And then we have to hit two of the strongest dual color leaders in the game if we want people to play those monocolor strategies. So it makes sense. I just feel like these guys didn't really get their time, even though they've been out for a good amount of time. I think what it is just the lack of actual physical events may have led us to feel that way as a community. But the game's looking fun. Set 10 looks fantastic. I'm really excited for the Unison cards, the Gotenks leader, the Sin Shenron. Like, a lot of that set is looking really, really cool. And I look forward to, doing some deck profiles with those new cards. So as always, stay tuned, like, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and talk to you soon.